Yo, what's up guys, my name is Mr. Freeze2244 and welcome to Hitman, World of Assassination. Today is the release of Freelancer, and up first is coming the patch notes. Is that English? Yeah, I think it's English. We're covering all the patch notes. There's quite a lot here to get through, so I'm going to leave some of the important stuff on the screen, obviously, as I usually do with these patch notes, so buckle in, it's going to be quite a long one. Currently the game is in maintenance. If you're watching this in the future, obviously not. Go ahead and play a Freelancer, but yeah, this is just the patch notes that's come out with this update, so let's get into it. Welcome to the first official notes for Hitman World of Assassination, the new way for us to refer to Hitman 3 and all the included content from Hitman 1 and Hitman 2. With the full experience all under one roof on all platforms, we're excited to share the patch notes that will lead us into the finale of the Year 2 content, Hitman Freelancer. Our focus leading into this release has been squarely on the new roguelike mode, and as such, a lot of the work and fixes won't be shared here. However, if you're curious about what has changed between the closed technical test in early November and full release of Hitman Freelancer, make sure to spend some time reading the blog post that we've released previously, which will prepare you even more for your first steps into Hitman Freelancer. I've already covered those in previous videos, so if you want to go and check those out in my recent uploads, they'll all be there explaining everything. Patch details. Hitman 3 will be updated to version 3.140 on all platforms: PS5, PS4, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, S, PC and Switch. Patch release time Thursday 26th of January 2023, 11 AM UTC. Maintenance 11 AM UTC to 4 PM UTC. If maintenance is extended, updates will be posted on the official Hitman Twitter account. The patch size, the new game update will weigh in between 1.5 gig and 8 gig depending on your platform. Cloud, Switch players do not need to download or install the patch. They will get access to the latest version when they launch the game after maintenance has concluded. Scrolling on to new content added. Hitman Freelancer is a brand new single player mode that introduces roguelike elements, strategic planning and customizable safe house. And starting today, you can become the global hunter and prepare, identify and eliminate most dangerous syndicates in the world of assassination. Again, they leave a link to the blog post in regards to Hitman Freelancer. Next first thing that we're announcing in this patch notes is Nvidia DLSS 3.0. So support for Nvidia DLSS 3, DLSS frame generation at Nvidia Reflex low latency has been added as well. With the 3.140 release, players can now enjoy the added support for DLSS frame generation and Nvidia Reflex low latency. DLSS frame generation uses AI to boost frame rates by generating additional high quality frames or while optimizing responsiveness with Nvidia Reflex low latency. DLSS frame generation requires a GeForce RTX 40 series graphics card. Nvidia Reflex helps DLSS frame generation achieve maximum performance in addition to reducing latency, giving players more responsive feeling in game, and Nvidia Reflex can be enabled in the graphics menu on the GeForce 900 series and upwards. Jump over to Nvidia for more information about DLSS 3. So basically, if you're not on PC and you don't have an RTX 40 series graphics card and you're not rich to own a 40 series graphics card, I don't even own one, yeah, it's not relevant to you. But if you do, great news for all the people that have a 40 series graphics card, you can now enjoy Hitman with DLSS 3. But I don't think it's necessary anyway, because it performs just as well on a 30 series graphics card. Perfectly fine. I don't think this game needed DLSS 3, but it's there if you want it. So if you want to play Hitman at, I don't know, 300 frames per second in 4K, then great, go for it. Next section in the patch notes are the improvements and changes, starting off with World of Assassination. We've changed several aspects of the game experience to fit World of Assassination naming and branding. The game's icon, PC launcher, boot screen and attraction screen have all been updated to the new World of Assassination branding. The in-game hub has been changed to accommodate Freelancer and put a focus on the story. Players will now have a clear choice of story or Freelancer from the featured hub. A new live tab will be the new destination for the most recent elusive targets, arcade contracts, escalations and other fitting content. So notice that you said most recent elusive targets, so that tells me that elusive targets are still going to be a thing. They're still going to be here and they haven't given up on them yet. So, you know, those are people that are worried that the elusive targets are over and they've lost their chance to get suits. No, they're going to carry on supporting. That's just as good as confirming it to me. New players will now start directly at the ICA facility location, as we want them to start their World of Assassination experience from the very beginning. We've also taken the time to update the sound effects on the IO Interactive logo on game launch, update the credits for work done on Freelancer, and update our legal line. I've seen that screen, I've heard the sound effects, it is pretty cool. Unfortunately though, the main menu, music, and the menus itself are identical to Hitman 3, unfortunately. And the menus haven't changed at all, they're identical, so unfortunately they didn't change. Stability wise, we've resolved various issues that could cause the game to crash or be unstable in various ways. That's always good to hear. Next thing on the list is the run toggle revisited. In the October patch, we added an option for players to enable a toggle option when they wanted 47 to run. Now we've expanded and updated some of those options. So the hold button is now unchanged. The player must hold the run button. Toggle has been changed. The player may press the run button at any time. 47 speed persists even when he stops moving. An icon in the bottom left will show his current speed. Press, which is a new thing. The player must press run when walking. If 47 was already walking, he will run. If he was already running, nothing will happen. When he stops moving, his speed will reset to walk. Okay, so that's a more accessibility for players, so that's always a nice thing. Other changes. In Sound of Fortuna, the hidden statue, we've resolved an issue where the statue involved in the Heart of Stone mission story was not covered when it should have been. Difficulties. We've resolved an issue where performing a save load cycle and replanning a mission on a different difficulty level could cause the game to not reflect the new difficulty level, i.e. additional cameras and NPCs would not be added to master difficulty. That is a strange bug, but I'm glad they fixed that. Challenge consistency as well. We've updated the menu ordering to sort challenges in a more logical manner. They'll now be displayed in numerical order in mind, like tier 1, tier 2. Yeah, because that was always weird, because when you go on the challenges like the escalation, track 2, tier 2, like it says there, they would all be in random orders. There'll be like track 2, tier 7, and then there'll be track 1, tier 6, and it'd all be shuffled up, but now they're in numerical order, which is what they should have been from the beginning, to be fair. Agent 17. We've updated the image of Agent 17's suit so that is shown when the challenge is unlocked to better reflect what the actual suit in the inventory looks like. Letter dance. We've resolved an issue where the words in the UI or on the in-game map could occasionally dance when the player quickly moves the camera or scrolls across the map. Paris Audio Sweep. We've overhauled the audio properties of the Paris map to bring it in line with the current standards. This work was done last year but never implemented. The following changes have been made. The new occlusion system. We've changed the occlusion system and adapted the rooming and our sound portal setup to use our 3D propagation technology rather than 2D. This results in a more realistic propagation from room to room, such as each being able to hear the water from the fountain at the entrance when you're in the 3rd floor attic room. The iconic music from the fashion show itself now uses an occlusion modifier to ensure that the smooth propagation throughout the entire palace without any dropouts. Finally, broken glass windows will now act as sound gates, allowing you to hear audio through them, which wasn't the case previously. Improved sound assets and variation. We've added new background and 3D positional sound assets into the inside and outside of the palace to add more variation and fidelity to the ambient audio. Improved crowd propagation. We've set up crowd templates and updated the crowd to the Hitman 3 system, which uses 3D spatialization rather than 2D loops. This means that they can now be heard in the adjacent rooms and from farther away, resulting in a more natural and immersive experience. Added impulse responsive reverbs. We've replaced our algorithmic reverbs to give all rooms a more realistic set of reverbs to simulate each space, which will make them more believable. Full mix pass. We've created a new WY's events and done a full mix pass on the entire level to the full mixing standards that we included in the Hitman 3 locations. So overall, Paris audio is going to be much better from now on. Excellent news. Next is Right for the Picking. We've resolved an issue where the Right for the Picking trophy / achievement from Mendoza could be unlocked in Haven Island. That's weird. Hawke's Bay Puddle. We've removed a visibly floating puddle from the beach in Hawke's Bay. Once we did this, it became apparent that there were visible seam lines that the puddle was accidentally hiding. We've tied that little issue up, as well as by removing the puddle decals out of the seams, together with some vertex painting. Excellent. Trespassing. We've resolved an issue where 47 could be considered trespassing on several stairs between the basement and main hall, even though his disguise was permitted in that area. Despite this being reported as an issue, fixed, reopened, and difficult to reproduce, we now believe it to be fully solved due to the trespass zone from the stairs being above, going down into the corridor below where the issue was occurring. That particular trespass zone doesn't actually go far enough down to reach 47's feet, so it shouldn't have made a difference, but now we've tweaked it, the issue has reoccurred since, so there you have it. Okay, excellent. Parish light. We've resolved an issue where several lighting issues could occur in the second room after the main hall in Paris. Certain lights would not appear, others would flicker or disappear from the room because of their draw distance, and shadows at a close distance would also disappear just before the lights, causing a flicker effect. Changing light settings or enabling ray tracing made no difference to these issues either. To fix this, we changed the shadow fade length, prioritization and angular attenuation of the lights coming into the room. We also added a light that shows when the light from the opening center door, seen below on the left hand side of the screen, which has never been there before. After all of that, here's what the fixed area now looks like. See, obviously now it looks much better than how it used to be, so I'm glad they fixed that as well. Mumbai Tower Tragedy. We've resolved an issue where it was possible for Agent 47 to fall outside of the map in Mumbai. You could say it was his own fault for subduing an NPC from cover near the Crow's Guard Tower, but we wouldn't say that to his face, so we added a collision box to keep him where he needs to be. Next level blending. We've resolved an issue where one of Rico Delgado's guards in Santa Fortuna would become part of the wall in order to surprise 47. No climb for you. We've resolved an issue where it was possible for Agent 47 to climb a tree near the cocoa plantation to get out of bounds. If the world's greatest assassin isn't interested in jumping, then we don't think he has any business climbing. We've blocked this particular area now. Instinctive recording. We've resolved an issue where some security cameras would not be displayed in Instinct after 47 has used the camera tool in his inventory. Camera conundrum. We've resolved an issue where it was impossible to use the hide menu prompt when using 47's camera to take a photo near a door. This was because the prompt to do so was the same as the open door button, and this was causing an issue. We've simply remapped the hide menu prompt to avoid this. Extremely rare circumstances when this would happen, but I have experienced it I think when Hitman 3 first came out. So again, nice that they're paying attention to the small details. Miami Money. We've resolved an issue where it was possible for NPCs to scale the walls, barriers at either end of the tunnel underpass at the start of the level. Okay. I've seen... it's not just in Miami, there's other places as well, like Dubai for example. I think there was a woman leaning on a rail. Those of you that will instantly know exactly what I'm talking about. There's a woman leaning on a rail or sitting down on a stool, and she's floating up high in the air. Don't know if they've fixed that yet, but yeah, it's not just Miami that's causing these problems. It was all the other places I've seen this before as well. But moving on. This one's a funny one because I've actually shown this in a walkthrough. Sapienza's Second Saviour. We resolved an issue where the Prince elusive target included in the Deceit's arcade contract will be able to use the same blending spot as Agent 47 in the church. We've given them both their own space now. I included this on, I think it was a walkthrough for either the arcade or it was actually the Prince elusive target itself. It's one of them anyway. And it looks like 47, well, it looks like the Prince is cuddling 47. It's quite funny. But they've fixed it now, unfortunately. Black Almond True SA. We've resolved an issue where the Black Almond's dagger, the Haven Island mastery unlock, was missing sound effects when attacking NPCs from any direction. Hokkaido stem cells. We've resolved an issue that was blocking players from using the stem cells as an assassination method because a specific surgeon would suspend their routine. That's always annoying as well when that happens. Sometimes NPCs would just freeze, and you never really understand why. Kind of odd. The 47th Universe. We've removed the Hokkaido Spa as a possible location for NPCs to be sick. Similar to the Bangkok breadbasket, it didn't feel appropriate. However, for all your emetic poison needs, we've added a new one outside the spa at the bottom of the ramp. So again, at least they're offering you an alternative place for that. Glove powers. We resolved an issue where the signature suit with gloves would not get wet in the Chongqing rain. The regular signature suit did, so it must have been something to do with the gloves. Must have been. The only explanation. Invisible flash case. We've resolved an issue where triggering a remote flash explosive that was concealed within a briefcase would result in the briefcase remaining functionable, but entirely visible. Now, triggering an explosive that's concealed will result in the briefcase being consumed and no longer usable. Okay. Legal trouble. We resolved an issue where 47 would be referred to as Bravwomo, the good man from Landslide, whilst wearing the lawyer disguise in Dartmoor. He should have been referred to as Mr. Ford, the actual lawyer on the Dartmoor map. We don't have specific lines for the Dartmoor lawyer recorded, so guards will find other, more generic ways to ensure 47 gets an appropriate greeting. Controller layout. We've made a change so that the controller layout shown on the pause screen will now update to reflect the player's choices for hold or toggle. These options were implemented in our October 2022 patch, but the controller image remained static with the default settings. Now it's dynamic to your choices. Again, a good change. Sniper timer trouble. We resolved an issue where the score screen shown after completing a sniper assassin mission would display as 0000, but be shown correctly on leaderboards. Basically, it was just a visual issue on the first screen. We've now fixed things so that the proper time is always shown. This is another thing that bother people, including me as well, because people have mentioned this as recently as yesterday. Apron adjustment. We've resolved an issue where aprons were not properly displayed, seemingly meshing with the character model. This issue stemmed from a fix we put in place for a different issue, where female aprons could not be seen from the back, but looked fine from the front. We've tweaked the aligned the properties of all aprons to render without clipping. So now the aprons look as they were before they made a mess of it. So again, that's good. It bothered a lot of people, including me, so I'm glad they fixed that. Rocky terrain. We've resolved an issue on Ambrose Island where an NPC would clip with their chair when picking up a magazine. This was caused by the chair not quite aligning with the ground. Similar cases with NPCs standing inside chairs after sitting and being distracted have also been fixed. Missing AI dialogue. We've resolved several issues, mostly on Ambrose Island, where certain characters' dialogue would not trigger properly. These include missing guard dialogue to 47 acting suspicious in disguise or placeholder robotic voices being triggered instead of the final recordings. Placeholder robotic voices? I've never heard that before. Does anyone have a sample of that? I'd love to hear it. Double wetsuits. We've resolved an issue where players could see two identical versions of the gorilla wetsuit in the planning stage after unlocking it through the Ambrose Island mastery track. Barrel shadows. We've resolved an issue where some shadows from the fire barrels, notably on Ambrose Island, would display unrealistically. Changes have been made. New feature, career page elusive target split. On the career page we have split the elusive target overview between year 1 and 2. This was made to help players have an overview of complete or failed elusive targets. But what bothers people, including me, is if you've failed any or missed any, they'll remain failed and missed forever. There's no way to correct it. Because those people that are chasing 100% throughout the game, it just kind of spoils people's enjoyment of it. Because, you know, it triggers OCD, including me. I don't like it either, but it is what it is, unfortunately. Last stop, kicking, pushing NPCs off the train in the Carpathian Mountains didn't always count as a kill. It now does, so use it carefully. Casual dental hygiene. The bubble queen gum is a delicious unlock from the 7 deadly sins, but unfortunately it was considered as an illegal item on the casual difficulty. This has now been changed so that you can chew in peace. Okay. When are they going to start bringing out emetic gum and lethal gum? Or is everyone just going to complain about that being too powerful? I can sort of understand lethal gum, but when it comes to emetic, why can't we have emetic gum? That would seem pretty reasonable item to have. It will be certainly be an alternative to. It will make you think, instead of bringing, I don't know, a Seeker 1, for example. Exploit with particles and muffins. Muffins are delicious, but they can also be a powerful tool, especially when it comes to speedrunning. We've fixed the issue where players could use muffins to their advantage to get better time by exploiting it. Thing is, we did not intend to fix this, but we liked the content that came with it. Therefore, we will introduce the muffin trick again in a later patch this year. Until then, sorry speedrunners. They also did this with violins as well, I believe. So you could do this with a violin and muffins. I've previously done it before on Chongqing. Getting down the steps helps you get down. You can skip a bunch of steps and get out of bounds and stuff like that with those things. But yeah, that's been fixed for now. But that concludes the entire patch list that's come along with this patch. But before we go, I just wanted to reveal something. As I booted my console up earlier on, just before the patch was installed on my console for this new update, I saw something on the store which is now currently removed. I don't know whether it's going to be added later on today or announced at a future date, but there was a DLC cosmetic pack I saw there for Hitman World of Assassination. Yeah. It was called the Makeshift Pack, and it was £3.99, and it included several things on a list which I wrote down quickly before it went away. I'll leave the screenshots of that also on the screen right now. If you're not interested in this being spoiled by this stuff, feel free to leave right now. But at the end of the day, it's going to be something that's going to be appearing on your consoles anyway. First thing you get with this pack is a scrap poncho suit, the makeshift katana, the scrap gun, the makeshift scrap shotgun, the scrap SMG, the makeshift scrap assault rifle, and the scrappy sniper rifle, and a set of cosmetics for your safe house in Freelancer. My best guess is this is going to be more of a regular thing, and I think there's probably more than one DLC pack. I guarantee there's probably about 5 at least. That's just my speculation, but considering this got removed straight away, it means that Sony messed up somewhere, and they shouldn't have revealed that yet. But yeah, there's a makeshift pack included in this, and it's £3.99 on the PlayStation Store in the UK. I don't know what the equivalent price is going to be for everyone else around the world, but that's what it was when I saw it. But I can't find it now, and I think it's probably because Sony revealed it too early, and IR Interactive told them to take that down. So yeah, that's the thing they're going to do in the future. So if you are interested in that stuff, go crazy and go buy it. I will probably get it anyway, purely just to showcase it and to show show the audience in videos if it's worth it for you, so you can see it actually on a video and decide that way. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts on that is. Do you think it's a good idea having these cosmetic packs, or what? Let me know. But for this video, that's going to do it for this one. So thank you very much for watching. Feel free to drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you are new to the channel. And hit the bell notification to be notified of all the future videos and live streams. Let me know your thoughts on these patch notes, and let me know your thoughts on that little DLC thing at the end there. And subscribe if you are new to the channel. And thank you very much for all the new members this month. I really do appreciate all the new subscribers as well. There's a huge influx of new people coming in. Yeah, thank you very much for all the support. And I will see you in later on live stream of Freelancer. Hopefully you enjoyed the Freelancer. I'll see you there. Cheers.